up, everybody? It's your favorite, I don't know, man, Mandalorian, Super Commando, I don't know what they call it. The Darth Maul one, right? And I'm anxious to take a look at it. This is the Walmart exclusive wave. So yeah, might as well get started. This is actually a Mandalorian that I'm excited about taking a look at, so that's nice to do. But in order to do so, we gotta start with accessories. So he comes with two pistols. They're unique sculpts, I believe. If they're not, I don't remember seeing them anytime recently. And they are kind of cast in this metallic flecked sort of plastic, which works well enough. He'll hold them well enough, but once again, I don't feel like his trigger, I don't feel like it sits super appropriate in his hands. It's like this is the third one in a row I've had this issue with. But I mean, he will hold it. And they can be stowed in these holsters here on the side. Also comes with a jetpack. Every respectable Mandalorian does. And it's the silver paint, and we have some red paint added to some accents there, and that's about it. It has a 3-prong system, which plugs into his back with 3 prongs, not unlike the Beskar armor one. It might even be, a retool of that. All right, so let's talk about the figure. So this is a retool of Jango Fett, I believe. I don't have the Black Series Jango Fett. I had it at one time. I think I gave it to one of my kids. What are you going to do? Let's talk about the helmet. I love the horns. It looks spot on. The maroon, black, gray paints look perfect. I think it's all done on this darker gray. Let's take a look. No, it's done on the black. So yeah, it's pretty impressive paint application. Now I'm gonna screw the horns up. There. It's pretty impressive paint application. It looks really sharp. It looks really clean throughout, so that's good. It's on a ball peg to a disc hinge like the old school Black Series like Jango. But it works pretty effective. You can get it down to there, up to there, swivel, confused Mandalorian look. I don't know. Moving on to the chest, once again, sculpt work looks good, paint work looks good. What more could you ask for? Even the weathering, the little silver scratch marks and stuff aren't slopped up. Down here, different story. Up here, looks good. Shoulders look good too, fine red work detail. The shoulders are on disc hinges into a peg in the chest. The horns on the shoulders go right underneath. Really well designed. It smushes them, it does smush them, but it doesn't seem to bother it. The clearance in terms of the joint itself is really well done. All right, we have a bicep swivel, which is, just old school for them, right? And then we have this one disc, as a proper hinge here on this elbow, really limited articulation because of the gauntlet. You do have the wiring that goes from the upper bit down to the gauntlets, which is nice and does make the figure look more interesting and dynamic. And then you have the weathering on the gauntlet itself. The wrist hinges in out, which is a bummer for pistol hands. It should be up down if you have to use one. It doesn't make any sense to do this. And then it swivels 180 or 360 rather. Same for the other side, except we have a little bit of details here, and the gauntlet is different with a little cutout there, which does allow you to get a wider range on the elbow to about 90 degrees, so that's nice. We have a single ball peg in the abdomen. You pretty much just get the swivel out of it. You get a little bit back and forth, but it's negligible. All right, then you have the belt, which is a different piece. You have the red painted on, and then you have the hips. T-jointed ball joints get you out to there. Forward and back. Nothing really back. Forward to there. Thigh swivel, I like how the holsters kind of go around the hip joint and rotate. Looks good. All of the wrinkles and stuff look good. Stitch marks, all that stuff, or the seam marks rather, look good. Double jointed knees, because it's the old school, but I kind of prefer it. And it looks good, wider range. I mean, it looks a little wonky, but wider range. But the knee pad helps, right? And then we had the red painted on for the shins, the silver mucked up here on the shin as well. Ankle tilt up, slightly down, and a rocker where it plugs in. There's a look from the back. Pretty, it's a pretty good use of the mold, and still the mold holds up fairly well for today's standards. Not 100% by far, but, we've seen worse. I've looked at worse recently. So, pretty nice. Size comparison wise, there he is with the Mandalorian Loyalist. So, it's like the same figure, right? So, pretty much what you expect it to be. The horns do make it look bigger though, right? I think so. Final thoughts wise, let's start with the negatives. Look, this thing comes down to the older mold, and it's the gift and the curse. So we'll just deal with the curse instead of the negatives, and then we'll deal with the gift. And the curse is the elbow joint, for one, on his right arm, super limited, super awkward. The fact that he has 2 pistol holding hands, he has 2 pistols, but they gotta find a way to screw it up somehow, right? And they do. So what do? They make the hands hinge in out instead of up down, which is silly mistakes. And I know they're just reusing parts, but they could have made a different part maybe. I mean, they gave him horns, right? So all that stuff is a little wonky, all that stuff is a little goofy, and all that stuff makes it a little bit of a bummer in that regard. However, to be fair, there is more good here than bad. It's still a pretty good mold. Most of the articulation still works fairly well. The paint on the helmet, as well as the horn sculpt and such, looks tremendous. A lot of the weathering looks good. Not on the shin, not on the knee, but the rest of it really looks good. The accessories are appropriate, so yeah, it is a recommend for me ultimately, and perhaps even reluctantly, but it is. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.